Hello and welcome to Basecast 24. I am Laura Fawcett.
I'm Stefan Blakemore.
And welcome to the podcast. How are you then, Stefan?
Yeah, I'm not doing too bad. Trying to get used to this cold weather, it's throwing me a little bit.
Oh, it so is. It's getting a bit... Although today was quite a nice day. Today is, well, when we're recording, is February the 14th.
Valentine's Day.
What a lovely day. Actually, it's my parents' anniversary, which is quite nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I kind of just focus on that instead of anything else.
Very nice. I mean, I'm kind of in the similar state. I don't really have anyone to share Valentine's with, but I do remain ever hopeful.
Don't we all? Don't we all?
Yeah, but there's not really too much Star Trek going on Valentine's Day, though.
No, there isn't. Although, as I recall, I think recently there has been a convention.
Ooh, tell me more.
SF Ball?
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah. Did you go?
No, I didn't. I didn't have the chance to. What about you?
No. Okay, let's not talk about that then. No.
I don't really think we could do that. We've spent all this time bigging it up for the last few moments, so kind of think we need to talk about it. And it just so happens we have someone who was at the SF Ball with us right now on the Subspace Link. May I introduce you to Dan Adams of Starbase 24?
Hi guys, how's it going?
Not bad, not bad. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. You know, it's a bit fresh out there, but I think I'm just about cool. So yeah,
Pardon the pun.
Cool. Pardon the pun. Indeed.
It was actually getting to the point where the weather was considering snowing over here just south of London. Like, it was very, very fine flakes of snow, but they weren't settling, so nothing terribly major, but it was still snow in February. Are you kidding?
I got quite a bit of snow. Quite thick snow.
Oh, lucky you.
Yeah, 3 flakes and the fighting over the milk at the co-op.
Yeah.
Yeah, and don't even think about trying to fight for the bread, because that'd just be a battleground.
Yeah.
But we're getting off topic, aren't we? So,
yeah.
The SF Ball, how did that go?
It went really well. This is the 5th one I've been to, and it is the 3rd one in Southampton. It's probably, one of my favourite events of the year. My favourite obviously being the banquet, but the SF Ball is a really special kind of event. It's obviously one of the longest running. This past one was the 23rd, and so in later years, it's always had a really big Star Trek presence. There's usually been 1 or 2 people there. This year it was Gates McFadden and Patty Yasutake, who played Nurse Ogawa. And I didn't know it, but it was actually their first reunion since they did the last film together.
You're kidding!
No, so this was the first time they'd actually gotten together at any sort of convention or anything.
Wow.
So that was really interesting. And so there was a couple of panels with both of them, and it was really interesting.
Oh, that must have been brilliant.
Wow.
Yeah, like I say, it was sort of your old school sort of convention, so you're all in the hall and you get to ask your questions after the actors go through a bit of a sort of chat between themselves, and it was really interesting.
So, for someone who has never been to SF Ball, I don't know about you, Stefan, if you've ever been before. I know you haven't been this year, but have you been before?
I have been to at least 1 SF Ball before. I think I've actually been to 2.
Well, I have never been to the SF Ball, despite everybody telling me that I should. I just have never got the chance to. So, for someone who's never been before, just briefly explain kind of what you would expect at SF Ball. Where has it been held, and when was it, and things like that?
Okay, basically it used to be, and when Stefan went, it was at Bournemouth, and it was usually the 2nd weekend of February, sort of, actually more in line with Valentine's Day.
Very much so.
Basically, there was a bit of a hotel venue change, and they moved from Bournemouth to Southampton. And so for the last 3 years, it's been at Southampton. And it's usually the first weekend in February, which I always quite like because it's around my birthday.
Oh, lucky you!
Yeah, so it's get a bit of birthday money, save that, and it's a bit of autograph money when I get down there.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's like a family reunion, like any of these events. So there are people that you'll know from other events, and there are people who only do the ball, but there's always that sense of welcoming and inclusivity. There's always somebody on hand. For example, when I went to my first one, they had a little newbies get together in the bar, so they were able to sort of explain how things worked. There's a bit of tongue-in-cheekness about it. I don't know if you've ever met B. Jones.
I have, yes.
Yeah, it's all good fun, but she can be very sarcastic, which is quite funny.
Yeah.
She doesn't seem to really get intimidated by anyone, which is brilliant. She and I have a bit of a running bit of banter because there was a quiz at a Manchester event some time ago, and for a tiebreaker question, she asked what was the Reliance prefix code, and I didn't know. And then every opportunity since, she's always asked it me, so now I kind of do know it off by heart.
As a little bit of trivia, what is the Reliance prefix code?
That would be 16309. It's a bit funny when you think about it, really. It's like the scenes from Spaceballs. Like, how easy would that code be to hack? And
so the combination is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah,
are you kidding?
Yeah. So yeah.
Is it held at the hotel? Is everything in one place rather than you staying at a hotel and then going to another venue?
Well, it's up to you. You're encouraged to stay at a hotel, but to save costs, sometimes a lot of people, myself included, stay at neighbouring hotels. There's a Premier Inn just across the road from the venue where I stayed. And Brian from Starbase 24, he stayed at a nearby Travelodge, which I understand was even cheaper than that. So obviously you don't get the full experience, sort of breakfast with the stars, but if you want to save a bit of money, that's one way to go about doing it, sort of getting a good hotel. But again, you need to feel really welcome wherever you're staying.
Yeah. So you just said there that you can have breakfast with the stars. That's a bit cool.
Well, sorry, I should rephrase that. I don't actually know that you have breakfast with the stars.
Oh, right.
but sometimes I imagine, like we had at the banquet when JG was down, perhaps the stars may come and join us. I don't actually know that, so I should probably scrub that. But the
potential is there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that for certain because, like I say, I've never actually stayed at a ball, but it's quite possible. But obviously, I don't want to guarantee that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very valid point. I should remind everyone that everything that's being stated on Basecast 24 is just our opinions of things and basically our impressions of how things may work. We cannot guarantee that anything will be as we say at, the SF ball, so we cannot guarantee that you would be able to get breakfast with the stars if you stayed at the hotel. It's just something that we think might happen.
But I will say this, you can get dinner with the stars. The ball itself is a sort of sit-down 3-course meal, and you sort of sit with the stars, and, well, obviously not, you sit in the same room as the stars, they're all introduced, and then, for example, this year, one of the guests was Chris Barry from Red Dwarf. So, obviously, a lot of people will know as Arnold Rimmer.
Or Goalpost Head.
Yeah, indeed.
Or Smeghead.
Exactly. And basically, he came up to the front and he did a little sort of one-man show because you guys may be a little bit young, but did you ever hear of a program called Spitting Image?
That vaguely rings a bell.
I haven't.
Well, basically, there was a program called Spitting Image, and in the day, they used rubber puppets to lampoon popular figures. So Margaret Thatcher, Ronald Reagan, and they had like comical voices.
But also comical expressions as well, like really weird, twisted grins and over-the-top squints on the puppets, didn't they?
Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah, and Chris Barry provided a lot of the voices for the characters. That was one of his first roles, and so
Excellent.
there was a bit dated. He did have a try. He did briefly do Donald Trump, but he did a lot. He did a lot of voices from yeah, you sort of Ronald Reagan's, Prince Charles, all that kind of thing, and it was very funny. And then he sort of read some lines from Red Dwarf, including the other characters. So he didn't just do Rimmer. And I don't know if you ever heard Chris Barry do the audiobooks for Red Dwarf, but he does a very good, because he's such a good impressionist. He does quite an entertaining impression of the rest of the cast. So that was quite funny.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And basically, during the day, it works much like a normal convention would. So you can go into your talks. There was also autograph signings, photographs with. So I must admit, I did get the photograph with Patty and Gates, which was fantastic. And then you've got your autograph show. On a Friday night, if you pay a little bit more, you can get a gold ticket, which I do because does cost a little bit more money, but A, it's for a very good cause, Teenage Cancer Trust. And B, I find that it's nice to give yourself one big treat sort of every year, and sort of going for that gold ticket is really nice. And in that, the guests do come and interact with you. They do have a chat with you, and it was really interesting. For example, my friend Stephen was sat with me, and Patty noticed that because it was a very formal affair, he was wearing a suit, but he did have a Next Generation Delta shield on. And she asked him about that. And so I asked her, did she take hers when filming had finished? And she explained that no, they actually had to give it back, but she was given a commemorative one. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So you still have memorable, intimate moments with guests.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
I mean, this wasn't this year, but one of the things they do is a money can't buy raffle. So because Bea works in the entertainment industry, she may or may not get access to certain items from film sets and things, and they raffle them off. Now, I won't say the hotel's name, but the hotel where it used to be, in the very last year, the quality of the food and everything was appalling. I stress that it's improved a lot in Southampton, but in Bournemouth, the hotel food wasn't quite up to par. And Marina Sirtis was there, Councillor Troy, and she spat out her food into a paper flyer that was on the table.
Oh.
So they gave away the raffle prizes, posters from Doctor Who sets, all that kind of thing. And Marina whispered in Bea's ear. And so what they did was they raffled off. Marina signed the piece of paper she spat into, raffled it off, and I won it. So I had to get up in front of everybody, and I did get a kiss on the cheek, which was pretty awesome. And it was really weird. And so I didn't keep it, I stress. I just threw it to one side.
Yeah.
But the next day, when I was queuing for Marina's autograph, I said, "Oh, this will be the second time you've given me your autograph this weekend." She looked at me, and then I think she remembered where she'd seen me last. And she said, "Oh, please don't tell me you kept it." So yeah, it was a pure Sheldon moment from Big Bang. But yeah, it was. That's the sort of thing that you don't get at a bigger signing show. It is the actors sort of joining the fun with us, and that's what I really like about the SF Ball.
Yeah.
That's really tickled me, sorry. I would have kept it, man. I would have totally kept that. But I'm weird.
What?
That's why. Yeah, I'm just weird.
I would have pulled off the bits that she autographed and then got rid of the rest of it.
You have Marina Sirtis' DNA.
Seriously,
What am I going to do with the DNA? I'm not a genetic physicist or anything like that.
Seriously, it was a little ball, and I think there's a photograph of it on my Facebook, not the actual, just the paper. So trust me, you wouldn't have been able to get one without the other.
Oh no!
I would have framed it. Anyway, wow, that's so... I was going to say that's so cool, but that's not really the word, is it?
Well, that particular instance, I'm actually speechless.
It's a bit surreal, isn't it? It's a surreal moment.
And trust me, Charlotte was there that year, and she'll witness that. She will attest to that. And the first thing she said to me when I won it was, "You do realise I'm a biologist, don't you?"
Oh man! Wow.
So that's the sort of experience you get. One of the things that was a bit different this year was, outside of the actors, there was a couple of people from behind the scenes of Trek there. Obviously, a big person who I'm sure you both heard of. He wrote the Next Generation technical manual. The Next Generation episode guide. Larry Nemeczek. He was there, and he's been. He recorded a documentary. He's produced a documentary called The Con of Wrath, which was about a con in the 1980s, just after Wrath of Khan in the States. And it went really terribly. And he's interviewed some of the actors about it. And he was looking for funding for the project. So he put on a little event. And so what we did was we all went into this little room on Friday night. And he sort of talked about, he showed us some footage, some rare footage from his collection. He did a little quiz. And the footage was really quite interesting. I don't know if you remember, if you've ever heard of it, but on Star Trek Insurrection, there was actually a deleted scene where Quark comes to the Baku planet, and at the end, and he's trying to open a health resort there. And it's a nice little funny little scene, but because of various legal difficulties, they're not allowed to put it as a DVD extra.
Oh,
so
what?
That was, yeah. So it was really it's basically they couldn't find two actresses that were basically Dabo girls with Quark, and because they couldn't find those actresses to get their consent, they won't put it on a video in case they find out and say you've used us with our permission. You know, we're going to sue you. So, and then there was a little scene where there was a little DVD extra, which was a spoof documentary about Tribbles and being hard to work with and making jokes about, you know, Tribbles' extracurricular activities and stuff. And they wouldn't show that. I mean, it wasn't sort of major humour, but it was really entertaining. And they said, and Larry said, you know, they can't show that because the lawyers don't want people being sued, because even though it was all jokey, it was done very deadpanish, so they didn't show that. But then Larry showed some bits of Trekland, and he did this little quiz where if you won, you got a raffle ticket, and then when you withdrew a raffle ticket, he had prize draws at the end, and I actually won the second ever issue of the Star Trek magazine, which was pretty cool.
Wow!
Because I had that first time around as a kid, so that was pretty awesome.
That is cool.
Excellent.
Mm.
So quite a lot of fun and games going on at the SF Ball. So you got the chance to gain some insights into the secret stuff that was filmed but never released. Got to meet the stars. There's also, in the evenings, either before or after the actual dinner, or is it on the Saturday, I think? I can't quite remember. But there's also various different party games that are being played, aren't there?
Yeah. Like I say, on Friday I was in Nice Talk all evening, so I didn't really take part. I didn't really see the quiz on Friday, the game on Friday. On Sunday, the actual game was Geekheads or Trekheads. I can't remember which one it was, but I presume you both watched the TV show Eggheads.
Yeah.
I have in the past.
Yeah, well, basically, instead of one round will be about history, one round will be about politics. In this one round was about Star Wars, one round was about Star Trek. So we were on the challengers team against a team of SF Ball experts. And what I found was that it gets really nervous when you stood up there in front of everybody. So my round was on Doctor Who. I got one question wrong because I didn't know it was about a role that Patrick Troughton played in Sinbad, and I thought it was Tom Baker. So I got that wrong. So it went to sudden death. Except the problem was, it wasn't sudden death like it is on the television where they play it like a penalty shootout. It was sudden death where you had to literally pick up a Nerf gun and shoot somebody in the audience. Yep, there was a guy who had a big flashing target on his head, and so I missed, unfortunately, because I couldn't work the Nerf gun. So,
oh no!
I actually lost that game. But we got some nice prizes, some nice runners-up prizes, and yeah, it was pretty cool.
But it's okay. You lost by the shooting bit, not the actual quiz bit. Technically, no. You are the quiz master still.
Yes. For anyone who doesn't know, Dan is actually the man in charge of the various different quizzes that are held at the banquet. He's the one that we're usually gnashing our teeth at, just thinking, how on earth are you expecting us to know that?
Yeah, I try to find a good difficulty ramp. You know, start off nice and easy, and then and then make it nice and tricky.
No, you don't.
I have to agree with Laura there. Not everyone sleeps with a copy of every single Star Trek encyclopedia and reads a passage every night before bed. I'm serious.
I love it, but I'm not like right into it.
But still, joking aside, Dan is the quintessential quizmaster. I don't know anyone who could pick a more well-rounded quiz. And yeah, they can be quite hard at times, but it makes you think. It makes you wonder, okay, now what was that one? It wasn't that one, it wasn't that one. Oh yeah, it was this one. And it's a nice way of making you think about the episodes that you might not have seen before.
Yeah.
I'll give him that.
Yeah, so how long does the ball last for? Because you mentioned Friday, does it?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming it goes on to the Saturday as well.
No, it actually goes... It starts up... Well, unofficially, it starts on the Thursday. That's when people start arriving at the hotel.
Right.
And basically, it kicks off on the Friday with a con dance workshop. So we run similar things, partly inspired by this in the past at the banquet. I actually learned Star Trekking at a similar sort of thing at Trekology. And then there's a standard quiz, which covers a wide range of topics, which is a pub quiz, a bit like the one I do at the banquet, with different questions. And then, like say, there's the games and a disco on Friday night after the opening ceremony. Then Saturday, it's photographs in the morning, then autographs in the afternoon. Meanwhile, on another track, all day, it's talks. And a really good talk, by the way, was Dave Freeman. He was actually a conceptual artist on a lot of films, Thor: The Dark World. He's done Wonder Woman, I believe. That's due out soon. He was there to actually talk about Star Trek Beyond. He did some of the concept art for Star Trek Beyond.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, so he helped to realise the Yorktown station. He designed sort of the planet where all the outlines where the ship was about to crash. Can't remember the planet's name. And he also sort of shows a video of basically at the end when, spoiler alert, they're building the Enterprise A. They had to sort of, obviously they showed you constructing it piece by piece at the end while they've got the monologue going on. And what they did, they had to design the different stages, and it was really, like I say, it was really interesting project. Unfortunately, he didn't have much to say about the USS Franklin because a different team worked on that. But it was really interesting, and it was interesting to hear him talk about these sorts of things. And it's nice talking to the actors, but you don't realise how much work goes into the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, that is something that I have noticed. There are so many people who are just sort of giving praise to all the actors, and yeah, I understand where they're coming from. The camera is on the actors, but there are so many people behind the scenes. Without them, the show wouldn't even exist. Yeah.
And it's just amazing stuff. And then Saturday night, it was the actual banquet. So like I say, you sit down, you've got a 3-course meal, and then There was cabaret from Chris Barry. Like I say, he was doing his little performance. And then Sunday morning, it was the same thing again. So photographs in the morning, autographs in the afternoon, with talks all day. This one, there was a little bit different activity this time around. I'm sure many of them are on our mutual friends lists, but a group of Trekkies sat down and had the heads shaved for the event's charity.
I remember that, the Brave to Shave challenge.
Yeah, I think Val Hughes, Tim Lythe, Michael Hartley, just a few names off the top of my head. If you've ever been to a ball, there's a regular there called Melissa. Even she had it done as well. And
Val Hughes and Steve Kay did as well.
And Steve Kay. How could I forget Steve? Steve.
How can you forget him with all that hair that came off?
Steve did a lot of promotions for that, and fair play to them all. They raised £1,600, I believe, was the last count.
Fantastic.
Wow.
And the entire event raised £9,000.
Wow.
So,
that's brilliant.
And that was for Teenage Cancer Trust, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh gosh.
And then in the evening, like I say, there was the closing ceremony, and then there was a bit of fun with the quiz that I sort of didn't do so well at. Then we had karaoke, which is a bit of a weird thing at conventions, but people seem to enjoy themselves. And interspersed that was the third disco of the weekend. So
Disco?
Yeah. Then that was it.
Was there a tribble fight? Did that happen?
Yes, there was a tribble fight.
A tribble fight?
Yeah, a full-on tribble fight.
It was like I don't know what they might have called it at your school. We used to call it dodgeball run.
Yeah, dodgeball. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the tribbles.
Yeah, and so basically people just started throwing tribbles at the dance floor, halved in two. And people, two sides, just started throwing tribbles at each other. And I'm just sat on the table drinking a beer like, what's going on? Oh yeah, sorry. That's the other thing I forgot to mention. Each evening had a specific theme. So Friday night was Jerry Anderson, so Thunderbirds, all that kind of thing.
I remember them.
Saturday was Game of Thrones, which isn't really my thing, so I just stuck with the old trusty dress whites.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
And then Sunday.
Sorry to interrupt, but to expand on that, the theme is basically what the event is doing, and people usually dress up to match with those themes.
Yeah. And then on Sunday, the theme was Quantum Leap. The theme was time travel, and I went as Al from Quantum Leap. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to do the Ziggy handling, but I did have the loud clothes and the big cigar.
Did you get a chance to cosplay anything else in the daytimes, or?
I just stuck with my Starfleet uniforms, really. That's sort of what I know. I do like cosplaying other things, but I've got the Doctor, the 7th Doctor, so that's the jacket, the cardigan, the shirt, the tie. That gets a bit hot, but. Yeah, and obviously there's a wide range of costumes. You don't have to stick to the theme. I mean, there was a very much, for the last few years I've been going, there's been very much a steampunk vibe to the ball. So a lot of people either do Star Trek themed steampunk or Doctor Who themed steampunk, or, for example, this year, rolling around was a steampunk R2-D2.
Wow,
that would have been brilliant.
Yeah, that was really cleverly done. And so it's a mishmash of themes. There's a lot of fandoms catered for. I mean, there were 3 Game of Thrones actors there, and they were Ian McInerney, Ian Beattie, and Roger Ashton Griffith. And they seemed like really nice people, but because I didn't really know about Game of Thrones, I wasn't really in the talks and stuff. But every actor seemed really blown away by the atmosphere, which is brilliant.
It sounds like a lot of fun. I'm disappointed that I missed it again.
It's a fantastic event, like I say, and it's. I mean, I've already put down a deposit on next year's ticket, so it's pretty. That's how much people enjoy themselves, and I know people who basically they're like a year in abeyance, so they've got the pay up this year. They'll come and they'll put down money at the event for next year's, because that's how well thought of the event is and how sort of welcoming it is.
That's cool.
Excellent.
So I suppose, having said so many wonderful things about it, that you would recommend it to anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I'm allowed to say. They did announce next year's guests. It was next year's cabaret, but I'll be very surprised if he's not a guest during the actual show. I don't know if I'm allowed to say anything, but it is Star Trek related. So.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay.
So it's very, very interesting.
I think it's probably best to leave the anticipation there. You can find more information about the SF Ball by searching online. You can also find SF Ball events, I believe, on Facebook to get some more information.
Yep,
and whenever they do reveal any guests that are attending, they usually do it on the Facebook page first and then put it up on the website, I believe.
Well, again, one of the things they do to sort of support the event is they have what are called patrons. So you pay £40 a year, and if you do attend the event, you get to go to Little Tea with the other patrons and talk about the event and feedback. You get scones and jam and tea, and it's really nice. You also get a nice set of exclusive photographs of all the actors. And one of the really cool things is that you get to actually know when a guest is announced about 24 hours before everyone else. So that's really interesting. Again, it's a nice little touch to generate a bit of income and support the event.
Excellent.
I don't think I have anything else to ask.
Yeah, I think we've pretty much covered everything for the SF Ball weekend. It does still sound like an amazing weekend, and I would encourage anyone, if they have the chance and want to engage with the UK sci-fi community, to please give some consideration to the ball. It's a fantastic event, a brilliant weekend to hang out with friends and just unleash your inner geek. And there are precious few of those around the UK as it is. And it's, again, working for an absolutely fantastic cause. So, to the SF Ball, I would like to say congratulations for the amount that you were able to raise, and I wish you even greater success in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you very much to Dan for coming on and talking to us about the SF Ball.
It was wonderful to have you.
No problem. Thank you for having me. I dare say I will be on for a few other things in the future.
We hope so.
That would be nice.
It just leaves us to just quickly remind people about Starbase 24 banquet. Would either of you like to give out the information?
Yep, I'd be happy to.
I thought you would, Dan.
Basically, if you don't already know, it's on the 22nd and 23rd of September. We've got Finton, as Steph and Laura told you on the last podcast. We've got Finton McKeown as our headline guest. Also this year, we're pleased to announce that Peter Roy and Alan Fling from Star Wars will be returning to join us, as will our expert cosplayers Sean George and Joe Marriott. Once again, all the profits are going towards supporting Macmillan Cancer Support, the West Yorkshire Animals in Need charity, and the Hedgehog Care. And one of the other things we're looking at is, well, one of the things that we're doing, which is really exciting, is that we're having a Ceilidh band.
Yes.
A genuine Irish Ceilidh band, which sort of feeds into the theme of sort of Fairhaven and Voyager. So,
and Finton,
yep, that'll be pretty cool. And we're also looking at doing special meet and greets with the actors. There's more information on the Facebook, but essentially we're going to be asking people to make a small bid, and the top 10 bids will get to spend an hour with either Finton, Peter, Alan, or Sean and Joe. And it will be pretty good. So for all your information, just go to starbase24.co.uk or give us a look on Facebook.
Thank you very much, Dan.
No worries.
So, I think that's just about everything covered. The banquet is still evolving, so whenever there's any new information that comes out, we will of course try and keep you up to date. For example, the news about the Ceilidh band, that was only recently decided on a couple of weeks ago, so we didn't really have the opportunity to put it into the previous broadcast, because then we would have been looking into the future, and I think there are a few other things I would be doing with that ability.
Yeah.
I defy both of you to say you wouldn't.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
Next week's lottery numbers, maybe, Dan?
yeah, that'd be nice.
Quite. Okay.
So, yes. Once again, thank you very much to Dan Adams of Starbase 24. It has been a pleasure to have you.
No worries. Like I say, thank you for having me.
I hope everyone has a wonderful next couple of weeks before we give you another dose of Basecast 24. I've been Laura Fawcett.
I've been Stephen Blakemore.
Live long and podcast.